Hey guys, Kenzie Restricted coming at you. So I wanted to talk about what I've been talking to my therapist about. So I see her name is Dr. Glover, I think her first name is Amanda. Found her through True Results. She's in with, it's called PsychMed, P-S-Y Med. I really like her. I have had a couple of other therapists in the past. Just not a personality match, and you really need a personality match to have someone you can be open with and talk to about your, very personal issues. I have committed to seeing her twice a month, which would like $40 a month, so I can handle that. The first things that she wanted me to do was figure out, figure out what was making me binge. Now, my idea of binging has obviously changed post-op because of my restriction, but I still see a binge as, eating more. I say eating more than a serving size of something is really what I would say is a binge for me. I'm talking about, like, eating the whole thing of ice cream. I mean, that's more than a serving size. And that sort of continued eating when I'm not hungry. Just overeating in general. If you look up the questions of Overeaters Anonymous, do you do these things that are considered, overeating? Yeah, though, to me that's binging. And I was kind of getting into the binging and then purging a little bit, or binging until I PB'd, which is technically the same thing as, being bulimic. If I'm eating to the point where I know I'm going to throw up, or to PB, then I was getting a little borderline. This is becoming an illness. So what triggered emotion? What emotion triggered my binging? And in the day, like literally the day after we talked about it, and she said, "I want you to really evaluate what makes you binge." I figured it out, and it's anger. 99.9% of the time, when something ticks me off, I will binge. A good example was, I haven't been going to the grocery store a lot, so we don't have a lot of food. And, it makes me less excited to cook, and then y'all know that I have really stopped cooking a lot because, when you can only eat this much food, then cooking is not real exciting anymore, because when you make something, you really can't eat that much of it anyways, and so it kind of feels like a waste, and blah, blah, blah. So, Luis, was watching TV one day, and then I hear him on the phone with his cousin, and I know that she hasn't invited him over. Now, Luis's cousin is like an amazing cook, and she has 3 little boys, all under the age of 8, and so the woman has to cook. I mean, she has to. And she's really like the big cook in the family. So, he invited her over. Well, Luis comes into the living room where I'm at, and he says to me, her name is Fres. I'm gonna go to Fres's house, and then he just said, and maybe she has some food. Okay. That maybe she has some food, in my brain, went to, you're inadequate as a woman, you never cook anything, nothing you make I ever want to eat again, and really a big that you're not adequate as a woman was really the big hurt my heart, which then pissed me off because I kind of had that, well, screw you feeling, and so as soon as he left the house, started eating. And after I ate, I sat down and I really thought, okay, what made you do that? What happened right before you ate? Because the first time when she asked me what makes you binge, I have my answer was, I have no idea. I feel like my first appointment with her, all I said was, I don't know, because I didn't know. But now that I do know, I feel really empowered by it. And every time I have that angry feeling, I know you don't have to eat because of it. You don't have to eat because of it. And seriously, the weight that lifted off my shoulders because of that, amazing. So then, we talked about, I drew a picture of it in my journal. It's like, thought, emotion, action, or reaction. And that, she was telling me about how, that has been studied 100 million times, and that's just how people are. So, when I have the thought, or, you know, when the outside something happens, I have to, instead of feeling the emotion first, I need to have the thought process. She said, the words she said were, you know, you need to evaluate the facts. What are the facts? When he said that to you, what did he mean? And if you don't know, ask. Which I don't do, you know, and a lot of people don't do. We just don't. You know, communication is terrible in this country. Communication is terrible among humans. You know, clarification of what do you mean by that? Because he didn't mean you're you're a terrible cook and you're inadequate as a woman. He meant maybe she'll have some food, because we don't have any food, and I knew we didn't have any food. So it wasn't him trying to be cruel to me. I turned it into something that it wasn't. Yeah, so that has been a lot of what we talked about. You know, she was obviously very happy with the fact that I have figured that out now, and I'm working on that whole, you know, that I call it 1, 2, 3. You know, action, emotion, reaction, and pending more here. We also talked about my, I say living in the grays, living in more gray. My life was a lot of up and down. It was really, really high emotion, really, really up, and then really, really down. And not so much down that I would get depressed, but down, I don't know, maybe borderline depressed. But I wouldn't stay there for very long, because I would immediately have another up by shopping. You know, that thrilling feeling of spending, you know, $150 at the grocery store for 2 people. Hence the reason we have so much food in this house. Or I would get it from, you know, excessively working out. You know, I'm talking working out for 2 times a day for an hour each. That's too much. I'm sorry, that is too freaking much. And to have a life outside of that, I wasn't having a life. Or to restricting my calories so much, like down to 500 calories a day, things like that. And then, you know, binging, because I would be so freaking hungry that I would like be starving myself, and then binging to the point that I would vomit. So, talked about those things. I haven't, I call that vomiting. I don't call that PBing, because PBing I don't do on purpose. I was eating so much that I would throw up on purpose. And that's not, you know, that's a very scary place to get into. Binging and purging is not something that I don't even want to begin to start doing that, and I you know, I kind of was. So we talked about that. I can't really think about anything else that we've talked about. I talked a little bit about my childhood, some feelings of inadequacy, or feeling like having to like earn somebody's love type things. Talked about what else did I talk about? Communication between Louise and I, which is so much better now. Oh my god. What else did we talk about? I don't know. I can't really think about anything else. That whole emotional eating thing was like has been our really big focus lately. My new focus is, you know, pending at step 2, and then living in the gray, which is letting it be okay to be kind of on the same emotional level all the time, and not having to do, you know, crazy stuff for the peaks and valleys of my emotions. They can, you know, I can live in the gray, and that's okay. I don't have to. Oh, we talked about like my obsessive behaviors, and how, okay, for example, I wanted something, like if I wanted something, okay, I used to have a really bad addiction with buying makeup, and I would literally be up at night thinking about if I left for work early, I could go by the store and buy something. That's crazy. Okay, I'm sorry, that's crazy. And so I spent, you know, thousands of dollars on makeup. I mean, if I showed y'all guys, y'all guys, how much makeup I have, you would be like, what the fuck? I mean, you'd think I have a career in, you'd think I was a makeup artist. I mean, it's retarded. Anyway, so yeah, some obsessive compulsive behaviors that I was having, and how, you know, I don't have to do that, and what else? Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's it. If I think of anything later, I'll let you know. I'll see her again in 2 weeks. So, you know, it is a long time, but I think it's long enough that it gives me a real sense of knowing that the issue that I'm currently working on, I have time to do it. I don't feel like, oh my god, I only have a week to get it figured out, because that's not true. I mean, it's an ongoing process, and so the fact that I figured out that anger thing in like a freaking day is amazing. And this whole letting it, you know, get the facts thing is probably going to be a little harder, because, I mean, everybody jumps to conclusions. I mean, that is just the nature of the beast. So, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later.